DIRadioCast.com, and we are live with another episode of Hip Hop Discussions on Air. My name is Africa Allah, and today we present Hip Hop Discussion on Air, second quarter review. That's right. Today we're going to talk about the music, the trends, thus far, the hip hop industry, and everything in between. I have on the line with me Hollywood Kid. Hollywood, give them a little bit about who you are and what you do, and then we'll introduce the rest of the panel. We also have people joining us, tuning in from the Caribbean and New York City.
Okay, well, I mean, I think...
Hollywood?
Yeah, I'm here. Can you hear me?
Yes.
As she noted, my name is Hollywood Kid, aka Mr. Everywhere Like Air. I'm the digital media specialist for DIRadioCast.com. I am the founder of Hollywood Kid Entertainment Group, specializing in management, music, technology, promotions, new media, that sort of thing. So happy to be here once again for the second quarter discussion, and hopefully I will contribute something valuable.
And we also have online Mohammed. Mohammed, tell us a little bit about who you are, what you do, and why you are relevant to this conversation today.
Systems engineer and a avid hip hop listener, enthusiast, and just wanted to get in on the conversation to discuss what I feel is the state of hip hop in 2014.
Okay, so we're going to jump right into the conversation. Today, I wanted to talk a little bit about the state of hip hop. It seems that it's the middle of the year. It's the middle of the year, and I don't know if it's just me or it seems that nothing really jumped out at me yet, and we're already 6 months into the year. So from that perspective, what has happened in the past 3 months since the first quarter review that you can say was really stand out, and what records are you listening to right now that came out within the last 12 weeks? Hollywood?
Rewind that question for me one more time. I didn't hear the first part.
What artists stood out in the last 3 months, and what records have you been listening to that came out in the last 3 months that you really were like, wow, I'm really excited about this?
I would have to, I guess, mirror a little bit what you said, that I haven't been impressed by a whole lot of material in the first half of the year. So if I have to think about who, I guess, moves me, who's kind of in my playlist right now, one song in particular I'm enjoying right now is Mount Olympus by Big Crit. I'm enjoying some of the new Locks material. But other than that, I honestly can't say that I've heard anything from any mainstream artist that has really significantly moved me, unfortunately.
That's sad. Mohammed, what about you? What have you heard in the past 3 months that you feel like, wow, this is an excellent product?
I'd say what was it, mid-March, Freddie Gibbs and Madlib album, Pinata. That was a nice body of work that I really liked. That's probably one of the heaviest in my rotation. And then there were also about 5 tracks, I believe, that Crit dropped. and I think it was like April or so, and then also the Mount Olympus that he did. So I mean, those are like really like the only records that I like, that came out in the latter part of was the last 3 months that I've really been listening to.
Okay. Alrighty. Well, I want to say that the Roots actually dropped an album in this quarter, and as historic as the Roots are, I don't think that it was really an impressive body of work. From your perspective, did any of you get an opportunity to listen to the Roots?
I did not listen to "And Then You Shoot Your Cousin" as yet.
Okay, so then what's the problem there?
What it is that I just like I haven't been enjoying the music the way that I used to. And there's certain groups like you hold them to a higher standard, and if you hear one or two cuts that you really don't like, you may be prone to not buying the album or not even checking it out.
Interesting, interesting. I definitely understand that. I think that a lot of people are slow on the draw when it comes to the new music that's out. Um, I was really excited about YG, and then he came out, and then I was like, okay. Yeah, it was like a lot of artists that had this buzz beforehand, and it was like when they dropped, it was like, all right, it wasn't as exciting as I thought it was. You had all this great buzz, and you have a great stage show. This year, this season, or this quarter, I was able to check out a couple artists, and not for nothing, like the people that really are impressing me during this festival season are really the veterans. From your perspective, those of you that go and attend festivals and conferences and concerts, who's really entertaining us? Is it the new artists or is it the seasoned artists?
At this point, I would rather listen to the seasoned artists. I mean, I know what I'm getting, so it's like a proven commodity. And I guess for nostalgic reasons. And then also, you want to hear something that is elevated lyrical content, I should say, compared to what you were subjected to, on your rush hour drive back home by listening to the regular radio stations.
True, I definitely agree. It's I think that there was a conversation that was posted online via hip hop discussions, and Ronnie actually said that he feels that 90s rap is coming back. In addition to that, the other statement was that people have lost respect for the hip hop culture in itself. And because of the prevalence of social media, they've been voicing their opinions. But it's even more so disturbing when you have radio personalities going after veterans of the culture. And we can see an example of that over this past quarter with the Chuck D beef. Hollywood, I know you were following that pretty closely. Tell us a little bit about that particular conversation and how social media is changing the hip hop culture, or influencing, I should say.
Well, honestly, I would first note that when it first occurred, there was a beef. In case people who aren't familiar, when Chuck D had some, pretty, I guess on point criticisms about Hot 97 and their Summer Jam, the content, the usage of certain language throughout the broadcast. He basically called it sloppy, um, and said that had other cultures, races even, engaged in such talk, such activity, in such a fashion, we'd be upset about it. So I actually caught it kind of in the midst of like when Chuck D, because I follow Chuck D on Twitter. So when he first started tweeting about it, I was watching it live. So the next couple of days, I tried to not pay any attention. Then it became a real big deal. Ebro from Hot 97, a couple of DJs really got disrespectful to say the least to Chuck D. You don't even have to necessarily agree with what Chuck D said to recognize that they were real disrespectful for somebody who's been in the game for countless years, toured, I think more than probably anybody. And it was just a bad look on their part. Except that I think it was also a lot of a publicity attempt on their part as well. Chuck D's pretty outspoken about a lot of things that go on in hip hop, and so it's not foreign for him to speak on things that he feels like need to be addressed. And the response that he got, personally, I was particularly taken aback. I lost some respect for Hot 97, and their DJs just for the way they handled it. Again, even if you don't agree with Chuck D says, he's been in the game a long time, and you at least have to give some deference to his point of view. So in a nutshell, yeah, like it kind of is indicative of the state of hip hop right now, with the youth and the culture having no respect for those that came before them, and that's unfortunate.
Okay. I see that we have two new people joining us. I want to introduce first Isaiah Gilbert and then Ronny. Isaiah, go ahead and take the mic and let everybody know exactly who you are and why you're participating in today's conversation.
Okay. I'm Isaiah, 17-year-old kid from Chicago. I rap. And it's funny that I came in when what's his name? Hollywood. It's funny I came in when he said that that the youth doesn't respect the people who came before us. But it's like the total opposite for like me. So yeah, I just wanted to come, voice my opinion on hip hop as it states now, and that's about it. Yeah.
Okay. And well, welcome and thank you for joining us. It's very interesting to get a youthful perspective on the culture. Ronny, tell us a little bit about who you are and why you're participating in today's conversation.
Talking to me?
Yes, sir.
Oh, what's up, everyone? My name is Ronny, otherwise known as the Bomb Bitter Old Man. And I'm here, fan bitter with hip hop. You know what I'm saying? I come from an era where it was the youth at its best. You know what I'm saying? And I'm not seeing that a lot. I'm seeing cats like it's not consistent to me. I love hip hop. I grew up with hip hop, and that's what I do. Yo, shout out to Hollywood. I follow you. And big ups to Muhammad as well.
All right, cool. So now that we've gotten that out the way, let's get into some real conversations about the hip hop culture. Prior to you guys joining us, one of the things that I stated, and I'm going to go back to that, is that over the past 3 months since our first quarter review, there hasn't really been a lot of music that like made me say, "Oh my God, I'm really excited." I think the record that we were listening to at the end of the first quarter was Pharaoh March, and he had just dropped that album. But how many albums between March and June have really made an impact on the culture? Ronny, you can go ahead and take that one away.
Well, it depends what you think.
No, we can't hear you.
Yeah, we're gonna need you. We're gonna need you to fix your microphone. We'll get back to you. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
You hear that?
Yes, we can hear you.
I got the 99-cent headphones, man. Yeah, from the Bronx, man. So
Yo,
what I'm
my
saying,
$300 JBLs don't work either. So
what I'm saying is that it depends what you mean about impact, because there's Chief Keef albums that had impact on hip hop. You know what I'm saying? There's YG albums and there's Migos and all these dudes that had an impact on hip hop. So you know, it's the type of hip hop. If you can refine your question to what type of influence are you speaking about, Africa?
Well, really and truly, like, what albums are you listening to right now?
All right.
What albums over the past 12 months have really like got you up and running? Of
12.
course, yes.
hey, real quick, I think that's Isaiah. Can you mute your mic when you're not talking? Because I'm getting a lot of background noise.
Is that better?
Yes.
Yeah, that's better. All right,
Okay.
let me answer that question real quick. I've actually gone to the past and listened to some older albums because in the last 12 months I haven't really heard anything of substance. The Fab Soul Tape 3 album, Currency's project, and Freddie Gibbs are three albums that I think, you know, have some influence as far as creativity, bars, and production. Um, I was disappointed with the Ab Soul album, but
Very.
other than that, I haven't really heard anything with much substance that has influenced the genre very much.
Okay, and Isaiah, you being one of the younger persons on the line, tell us a little bit about the records that you're really excited about right now.
Excited about or that I'm listening to right now?
Go ahead.
Okay. Uh. Well, the Mac Miller Faces mixtape was really hot to me. I thought the mixtape was mad hot. Alex Wiley Village Party, that was hot. I like a few. I like a few joints off of the New Roots album. I had a few joints like every time Black Thought dropped a verse on that joint, it was tight.
Agreed.
Look for Chicago artists.
So,
Like
in the past, in the past
for
couple of
example,
months,
you said what?
so in the past couple of months, you've really, really been vibing out to about 5 different artists.
Yeah, Mac Miller, Alex Wiley, Mick Jenkins. He's a Chicago rapper. You should watch out for him. He's really good, really, really good. Also, I like the Blue Good to Be Home album, and that's about it, I think.
Real quick, where are you from, Isaiah?
Chicago.
Okay.
See, and then that's another thing about the music and the culture. A lot of the things, it's location based. So the stuff that we're hearing and the stuff that we're experiencing may not necessarily be what's hot on another coast or in another city. And we have to realize now with the way technology is and our access to these things, we have a platform like Hip Hop Discussions on Air to kind of expose people to what's going on globally in the hip hop culture. So I definitely want to make sure that we understand that there's a vast scope of people that are participating in this conversation. We have Hollywood from Atlanta, Isaiah from Chicago, Muhammad from Houston, and Ronny from the Bronx or New York.
But see, that's and I did ask that because I mean, to some extent, it does play into what music we hear. I think it's more directly related to independence more so than mainstream, because the mainstream is saturated with the same music, and there's no disrespect to my BX brother on the line. You can go to Atlanta and turn on the radio, and you might as well. I mean, you go to New York and turn on the radio, you might as well be in Atlanta. And that's just. I'm from New Jersey originally. I've been in Atlanta for quite some time now, so that's why I'm ATL Hollywood kid now. But when I go up north, just came back from the CE week a few weeks ago, and I told App, we were walking down the street, I was like, I'm listening to see what they playing, when what's coming out of their trunks, what's coming out of their windows when we walking down the street, and I didn't hear anything that I wouldn't have heard when I was at home already.
But you know what?
Low-key,
To that point, go ahead, Isaiah. Go ahead.
low-key, the only place that I've heard has like different music on the radio is in Cali. That's the only place that I've heard. But like that's all I know. But in Chicago, you're gonna get the same stuff too on the radio.
Yeah, you know, my brother Muhammad. I wish he can join us, but you know.
Yeah, I'm here.
He,
I'm here.
oh, you hear Muhammad?
Yeah.
He says it well. He said, Ronnie, stop listening to the radio for Hollywood. You said you lost respect for High 97 when they did that whole Chuck D thing. I lost respect for High 97 about 5, 6 years ago, man.
Well, I was being polite about it. I don't really listen to radio. I have minimal respect anyway, but I give them the credit for being a radio station. But now it's kind of like, yeah, I don't listen to the radio, but I try to, because you got to do your research.
Right.
No.
But yeah, I would disagree with you guys. If you're a real hip hop head like we claim to be, you have to go search and find your music elsewhere.
Yeah, absolutely.
Absolutely.
Well, that's what we do now. I mean, you have no choice.
I mean, it's easy now though with the internet though.
So you said that's what we do. We have no choice.
Pretty much. I mean, if you want to hear some like outstanding music, it's not on the radio.
Yeah.
And is there a reason for that? I mean, I have a response to that, but from your perspective, is there a reason for that?
Yeah, well, I would say this, right? I mean, you have one thing being pushed because, like, I mean, from what these guys are saying and from my personal experiences of traveling around the country, it's like every time you go and you jump in the car and you turn on the radio and it's not satellite radio or you don't have your MP3 player on you, you're stuck.
Yep.
You're going to hear the same 10 songs played over and over again, and it's like a broken record.
Now, there is a reason for that. If you pay attention to who owns the media outlets, we have Radio One and
Clear Channel,
right?
Infinity.
There's this thing where people are trying to reduce the overhead costs by syndicating shows. So we have the Breakfast Club being played in Atlanta, the Breakfast Club from New York being played in Atlanta, or in other markets, because that's the winning program for that slot in that company, right? Now, when you have those things and you're moving these people over, what happens is the same music is being played. You don't give people the opportunity to hear music from their region. And while I totally am for syndication, I am also against the concept of wiping out completely local music, because it reduces the ability to get diversity, number one, and the opportunity for independent artists. On the other hand, as consumers, we continue to buy into the BS and not support the local artists. Don't go to their shows. Don't watch their videos online. And those of you that do support them, the artists themselves feel like they're entitled to get the support because they're from this city, and they feel like they don't have to work, because you should respect them because they're from the Bronx, or they're from Chicago, or they're from Houston, or they're from Atlanta, and you're in their city, and you should like them without them doing any work. So where do we get the balance?
Well,
because people aren't working hard anymore. They don't need to.
Well, I can't speak for everybody else's local market.
I think Isaiah is saying something.
Yeah, I can't speak for everybody else's local market, but in Chicago, we definitely support our local artists. They sell out every show. Like, no kidding. Granted, it's small venues, it'll be like a 500 people venue, but we sell them out. I mean, we still get there, and we do buy like merchandise from them. Chicago's a vibrant, different type of market. There's different movements happening right now. A lot of the musical diversity is from Chicago. Like, I don't know if you guys know who Vic Mensa is. Anybody know who Vic Mensa is?
Heard of, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, this dude drops everything from old school to he's dropping trap.
The house song he got is pretty tight.
the Down on My Luck is tight, right? That's tight. And you got Chance, who created a flow and different music that we haven't heard. And then you got Chief Keef, who revolutionized trap. I mean, give him his props. He did, right? Give him his
He
props.
revolutionized something. I don't know what to call it though.
It's trap music.
Trash.
Trash music, you said? He revolutionized trash?
Yeah, he said trash music.
I said trap. I said trap.
Oh, trap. Trash. Okay.
I mean, is it trash? I mean, I don't believe there's such thing as trash.
Nas talks about Chief Keef, in one of the interviews he had, and Nas says that Chief Keef was absolutely necessary for hip hop because he equates it when NWA was out, and NWA was talking about all the craziness that was happening in LA. And he's saying, you know what, Chicago, Chirac, whatever you want to call it, is bleeding right now. And this is just the outcries of the inner city with all the poverty and struggle, with all the violence. And Chief Keef is just a speaker. You know what I'm saying?
Me. I'm sorry to interrupt, and I don't disagree with that perspective. Unfortunately, the problem with Chief Keef is, like you said, he's speaking. No, he's not speaking at all. He doesn't speak. So the problem, I'm sure. Listen, don't get me wrong. There's a couple of Chief Keef songs that I actually, will
like
bob my head to. I'll bob my head to. But at the end of the day, most people can't understand him. He's not speaking in.
But why? But the problem, but the real issue is, why can't you understand him? It's because he's a reflection.
He's got a terrible microphone.
Yeah.
Well, it's not a. Personally, I listen to hip hop, but I also speak English, and he's not speaking in complete words, let alone complete sentences.
But it's a But his lack of speech is a reflection of the lack of schools in Chicago, the lack of resources, the lack of education that these kids get. These are the kids who grew up. These are the kids. Chief Keef in this new era of the drill movement. These are the people who grew up on Gucci Man 5 years ago when Gucci ruled.
So let's accept that as true. I would have to disagree with Nas. What Nas says, his point is that Chief Keef is necessary. I think he's necessary to show, that culture exists, but I don't think he's necessary to hip hop in that he hasn't contributed anything, as far as I can tell, substantive to the culture. If anything, he's adding to the decline in the culture.
I will say this, that I think that is an elegant spin by a wordsmith on how he really feels about the young man. Now, you and I, we all know. I mean, you've heard the songs. The I guess, like, if you could call it like the sonic stage or whatnot, the soundscape, the beats that he has, they're pretty moody. And that's about all you feel is the beat, and you tune out everything else that he's saying. It's nothing worth listening to.
Yeah, I mean, props to Young Chop. He giving him some dope beats, but that's
about it.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I mean,
the English language to communicate. The English language, you need to dominate it. You need to twist it. You need to flip it in order to tell a story, in order to paint a picture, in order.
I think that ship is failed.
What? You said paint it yourself?
I said I think that ship has sailed.
Say it again.
I think that ship has sailed.
Oh yeah. You might be right, but because right now, I was listening to Hollow the Dawn versus, I don't know if we're gonna get to that, but Joe Budden. And as far as I'm concerned, Joe Budden had mastery of the English language. He was spitting bars, but he did not have the delivery. He did not have the showmanship of a battle rapper.
He rapped like he was rapping over a beat. Yeah.
Right. But so which is it? So you're gonna totally negate bars, figurative language, and all the English mechanics, and say, oh, he didn't have the delivery of a battle rapper. So Hollow the Dawn won. I don't know about that.
I liken it to.
Go ahead, Mohammed. I'm sorry.
No, I liken it to the WWE, man. It's like you have very gifted orators, and some are incredible in-ring performers, and then you have those guys that shouldn't be anywhere near a microphone, but they can go. And then you have those people that just shouldn't be there at all. They're just taking up space.
Right, and that's all I'm saying. Like in this hip hop circus, which is what it's become, you got some lions still in the cages, but it's a bunch of clowns running around, and that's the problem.
Wow,
All right, so
that is a very deep statement.
so
Hip
Hollywood,
hop circuit.
I'm gonna ask you about that, because I had this conversation with Africa Allah a little offline, and I was like, I almost feel, maybe I'm being nostalgic about it, but I almost feel like there's a resurgence of boom bap rap. You know what I'm saying? Like coming back. I'm seeing older rappers from back in the days. I'm seeing younger dudes, kind of imitate or try to bring back this sound. Do you
Yeah,
find that it's coming back?
no, in Atlanta, I could speak on Atlanta. Boom bap has been here for a while. It really never went anywhere. The problem now, it became, swept up under the carpet, and now there is sort of a resurgence. But I'm being honest, especially here in Atlanta, there's resistance to it. Like you hear heads talking about, oh, I don't want to hear that boom bap, all that backpack rap. Like they don't like just if you call it that, they have a problem with it. So I don't really like to add titles or descriptions. I don't want to, you can call it trap, you can call it boom bap, whatever. It's all part of hip hop. For me, if it's good music, that's what's important. Because I listen to trap music, if that's what you want to call it. I listen to boom bap. I listen to some old school. I listen to the new stuff that's on the radio. But if it's good, I'll listen to it. If it's not good, I don't care what you call it. But I do have a little concern because, yeah, again, what I mentioned about it doesn't seem like, and this is no disrespect to Isaiah being here, like the younger audience, they don't know their history and the culture, and that's part of the problem. It's hard to respect what you don't know about.
I
And
wouldn't say that because, like, I've read across many young people, like, in my travels, man, and I'm not saying that like I'm some old goat or whatever, but like, there are people that are like in their like late teens, early 20s that know a lot about the culture. They actually do their research because you have the power of the internet at your fingertips. So I mean, it's not hard for them to look into this stuff if they're really interested in it.
well, no, I'm speaking in general terms, Muhammad. I don't disagree with you. That's what I said,
Right.
a minute ago. Those of us who care about hip hop and want to know, be exposed to different segments of the culture, we do the homework. We do these Google Hangouts, for people to take part and communicate about, and have an input, a say in the culture. But honestly, that's the exception. That's not the rule.
True.
Oh, okay.
Now, I'm so glad that you brought it back up, Ronnie. Is 90s hip hop making a comeback? If you look at all of the concerts that are really selling out, you have the Jay-Z and Beyonce on the run. You have the Nas 20-year anniversary, the Outkast 20-year anniversary. These tours are the tours that people are looking at. Actually, for A3C, the Locks is going to be there. But the entire Duck Down is going to be at A3C. It's going to be crazy. So but all of the really cool acts that are coming out to these concerts and festivals, they were hot in the 90s. I
I have a
don't see any.
question
I
though.
don't see any headliners that's really coming out.
Isaiah,
I have a question though, App. Because I'm inclined to go with you on that, but I do have. Can you address maybe if those acts are the ones that are dominating the shows, if will? It seems to me those same acts, with the exception of obviously Nas and Jay Z and Beyonce, the Locks and those in particular, they're not able to sell records. The Mob Deeps, they still
Yeah,
can't sell records.
they can't sell records, but they can definitely put on a performance.
Right. So how do
And
we account for how?
there are a lot of artists that they have a cult following. Like there are artists like Dead Press, for example. Dead Press shows are always packed, but you know
How come no? How come those same audience people aren't buying the records? If that be the case, and
They
this is a
are.
question. It's a question. I'm not. I'm not saying that's not happening. But yeah, it does seem to me. Yeah, because Locks dropped the album not too long ago. Mobb Deep dropped the album, and you don't hear nothing about it.
Well,
But they come to town. They come to town, and they're like, "Oh, Mobb Deep's in town."
Because all of those people who went to that show, that's the whole fan base right there.
See what I mean? That's what I'm saying. That's
what I'm saying. It's 1,000 people getting really, really excited for one album, and they all buy it, but it's like 1,000 of them. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like you gonna sell 1,000 records if you got 1,000 fans. You know what I'm saying? Like,
see what I'm saying?
I think, honestly, man, I think the music has been diluted to the point, like, we don't even get excited for album releases anymore, man. I mean, like, I remember when I was, like, in high school and in college, like, Tuesday was like, oh, man, all right, we get some new music today, man. Right. You know, and now it's like, I can't even tell you the last time I actually picked up a physical copy of a CD. I mean, like, I will buy them. I would buy like the older CDs and just like rip them because I like the higher quality that you get from like flat format. But other than that, I mean, it's like I don't really care much for these new artists. I haven't seen anybody that that has come along in a while that has like really had me enamored with their craft. Like most of the guys that I listen to, they've been around for like at least like 6 or 7 years at this point. I mean, like I'm a big fan of Currency, Freddie Gibbs, Crit.
Now what is? Now hold on, I got a question though. I got a question about Currency. Tell me how he's different lyrically than somebody else.
Well, I will say this.
Because I feel like Currency gets a pass just because he raps over boom bap beats. Like that's how I personally feel.
Well, no, I mean, see, he has a diverse catalog. He talks about a lot of subjects, and it's the way that he paints pictures with words. I mean, because like they're like he's automobile aficionado. He's a I dare say it, a weed connoisseur. And I mean, it's just the way that he talks about his day-to-day lifestyle that it's okay. Well, this is pretty entertaining. Because I don't know how you can like come up with these particular topics and then use the words and the music that he has to it and make a coherent album. But he finds a way to do that consistently, I might add. And he has like really great projects.
See, now I feel like rappers like Isaiah Rashad accomplished that same exact. And
I bought his album.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I bought his album. I forgot about that. That was another one that.
Touche. I bought his album. Touche.
Definitely, the Isaiah Rashad is definitely one of the dudes.
But correct me if I'm wrong. But he's talented, doesn't he? Do a lot of the production for himself and a lot of the other people in his camp anyway. Like he's bigger than just a rapper.
I didn't know we were talking about more than rapping, but I mean.
Yeah, I don't really know. I mean, like, all I know is, like, I bought the album off of the strength of, like, the 2 songs that I heard, and then I was pleasantly surprised. It was actually a really decent project, so.
My album of the year.
Oh, interesting.
That's your album of the year, okay.
It is. So, I mean, I'm not as big on Pinata as everybody is.
I think Pinata was a dope album, man. It's just.
I think it's too long. I think it's too long.
Mm-hmm.
I think it's too long. I think I couldn't listen to it just straight through. You know what I'm saying? Like, Madlib definitely dropped some great stuff on there.
Madlib was incredible.
If it was 14 tracks, I would probably love the album. But I thought there was some weakness in the beginning, personally.
I don't know. I didn't really do it like that, man. I mean, it's like it's Freddie Gibbs. I know what to expect, and honestly, man, he's probably one of the more versatile guys that's actually rapping right now, man. Or
is he versatile?
Subject-wise, no. No. But lyrically and delivery, yes.
I'm feeling left out here. Like I don't dig Currency. Isaiah Rashad is okay with me, and he fell off. Kind of the more music I heard, the less I liked him.
Fell off.
For me, you're not hearing me. Personally, he fell off for me. The more I hear, I don't really care for him. I don't like Currency.
Oh.
The guys that y'all are naming right now, I don't really care for. Freddie Gibbs, I've seen him in concert with Raekwon, like live. I've heard his music, and he didn't impress me either. And I'm not saying
So what are
anything
you
other than
listening to?
yeah. That's what I'm saying. I'm not saying anything other than yeah. Y'all are giving these guys like plenty of credit, and I just personally that's not my. I don't care for any of those guys.
Are you comparing them to?
I'm not
Because
comparing
us,
them. I'm not comparing them. I'm just if
no,
I listen
us,
to
we about to, us golden era dudes do that. And I had, no. I had to catch myself. Hollywood, because you know what I'm saying. I can't compare dudes from now to the golden era because
yeah
they'll never live up to it.
yeah. Well,
But
I
for
don't.
right now, for this space and time, like to me, like I think Freddie Gibbs is a bona fide rapper with just delivery skills out the water. Like this dude can flow almost on any beat and it's different. Is he my favorite? No, I still think TDE. Uh, uh, um, I still think TDE camp is probably the best camp, and I still think Kendrick Lamar is the best right now.
Well,
I didn't like
Well,
that
I
Absol
need some.
album.
I need some.
Okay.
I need some
I
solo.
didn't.
I need some solo songs from Kendrick. Now,
I'm not.
he's my favorite rapper, but I need some solo songs, man. This dude. When was the last time he dropped a solo song? Seriously,
It's been about 2 years
it's
almost.
been about 2 years since he dropped a solo song. So yeah.
And that is a great segue into the next statement. What happened to all of the great artists that came out in 2013? All of the new artists that were going to be the next new people. Where are they now? We
What
haven't
great
heard.
artist in 2013?
They're on the double XL cover, freshman cover.
Ying
Yeah,
ying
that's
ying.
Yeah, there's
Hold
like
on,
three.
what?
There's like 3 artists from 2013 who people cared about.
All right, look, John Connor. Let me just give John Connor some props. If John Connor could stop ripping people's beats and doing them
I'm saying.
I just want to hear John Connor on his own stuff because based on what he did to some Kanye stuff, I think he could spit. But
But Buddy's a bona fide lyricist, but he ain't a bona fide rapper, and this is the difference. He can't. I've never heard one hook. I haven't heard one hook from him. One hook. Like you need to
That's
have
the
a
death
hook,
belt, man.
or you need to have something. Schoolboy Q, I can barely memorize his lyrics, but the dude has memorability out the ass with his choruses, his ad libs, his delivery. That's the person whose delivery I get the most hype with. Like you guys talk about Freddie Gibbs. Freddie Gibbs, all I hear is this angry person. Like Schoolboy, I hear somebody who reflects real life and parties at the same time. Like he's conscious through ignorance at the same time. Like that's
He's
how I feel.
conscious ignorance. He's conscious.
You gotta
He's
pick
conscious.
your
Hold
side,
on.
man.
I have to say this. He's conscious ignorance.
He's
Okay.
conscious
I
and
am
ignorant.
going to leave that alone. I saw Schoolboy Q in concert, and I was not impressed with him. I apologize. He was like
He had a bad day.
he was out of breath. He was sweating, like he was sweating profusely against his stomach. It was not sexy at all. Okay, so I'm like not really a fan after that performance.
He was honest. He stopped his performance and sat down. and was like, "Yo, I need a break."
What the fuck?
you get on
Wait,
that.
Man, hold on, man.
What
Hold on.
does that say?
Is that the reason why he got shot at his show in Denver, man?
Oh
Because they
well.
wanted their money back? That was
No,
like
I'm
some
just
Bobby
saying,
Brown type
anything.
stuff, man.
Oh, if anybody, even if you don't like Chance, go see Chance the Rapper in concert. He's like
now
the best concert.
I saw Chance the Rapper, and not for nothing. Even though he sings mumble, like he was off the chain as a performer. Like I don't know what the fuck he was saying, but he was off the chain as a performer. And from a performance standpoint, I would go and see him, but I don't know what the hell was going on. I just was rocking out with the white kids in the crowd.
Yo, I listened to Chance's album. Isaiah put me onto it. It's just, I feel like cats are being weird for the sake of being weird, man.
Thank you.
You know what I'm saying? It's like, Isaiah, I
He's been-
believe he got talent. I believe he got talent. First, speak English. Let's get that.
Okay, first of all, have you ever listened to? First of all, I would recommend listening to it with like the Rap Genius lyrics, like right there.
I
Like,
listened
first,
to
I
the.
recommend that.
Wait. What?
I listened to both albums.
Yeah,
Hold
I
on.
don't want no lyrics for dummies sitting in my hand, no cheat sheet while I'm listening to somebody's music.
Two,
You know how hard it
you
is to
guys,
print
you
300
let
grams with lyrics in your. I
two.
can't print out no lyrics, man.
You guys don't let Chance get away with half the stuff that Andre 3000 got away with.
Oh my God! No, you can't.
Oh,
No,
hold on. See,
no,
hold
no,
on.
no,
See,
no,
now
no,
you
no.
now you're
You're out of
exposing
control. You're out of
exposing
pocket
your
right
youth.
now.
Hold on. Can I say something? Can I say
I'm
something?
just saying.
Can I interject, man? Now, being that I live in Texas, man, and I kind of, I dig the slow and throat or the chopped and screwed music. I have actually listened to Chance the Rapper's album. I can't remember the name of it, but he put out the project and they did the slow and throat version of it. And I actually heard word for word what he was saying, and that guy, he's pretty catchy, man.
Who? Chance?
Chance. Yeah. Now I don't, know if I'm just gonna sit there and like listen to all of that drug-addled bullshit. But I
But
mean,
it's more than that. If you go
well,
past,
I mean, from what I heard, I liked. I was like, okay, this is cool. But like some of the stuff is like, man, I can't relate to that. I don't do acid.
but
That's
like,
the name of it. Acid rap. That was the name of it.
See, that's the stereotype, though. See, Chance, if you listen past the drugs, he is saying conscious things about the city.
There's a whole lot of people that aren't going to do that, though.
Okay.
And you're going to lose a whole segment of the audience just because of
But
that.
okay, it doesn't matter if you. But we are the real hip hop heads. We should be the ones putting in effort.
Well,
So remember back in the day when we used to get like really hyped about some music that had dropped, and like I don't know about y'all, but I used to do stop pause to write down the lyrics of what they were saying in the song. So I mean, yeah, we don't analyze lyrics the way we used to. I mean, and maybe it's a byproduct of like hearing so much garbage that
But
we
not
don't
even
do that
that.
anymore.
We have websites like Rap Genius to analyze the song lyrics for us. We don't have to. We are no longer responsible for taking control of our art form or our culture. There are other people that are telling us or dictating what this rapper is saying. They're sitting there breaking down the street.
In all fairness, there's a lot of typographic errors. There are a lot of I don't know of any one person that can listen to a song that gets it right every time they recite the lyrics. I don't care how well you know that song. So that's subject to interpretation. And then furthermore,
I think I know every word to Nas "The World Is Yours."
Okay, here's the point I want to bring out, because we're not going to come to a consensus on every artist we encounter, but from this debate you can tell like there's no artist that kind of is representative of of good music overall. And I know that's subjective to an extent, but yeah, we have to pick out this rapper and say, well, he's good at this, he's good at that, he's good at that. But there's not. Can we think of any one artist that we can say, you know what, overall for hip hop, this is a good artist?
Kendrick.
I don't think
There's like a 20-year age gap right now though between. Like,
True. I'm still gonna stick to Kendrick Lamar is putting out some good quality music.
Man, he hasn't put out any good quality music in like 2 years, man.
He's coming out with an album. I'm saying, but
I don't believe it. It's like Jay Electronica, man. I believe that when I see that.
Well, Jay.
No, I know.
But do you guys actually think Jay Electronica can make an album?
I'm signing.
I think he's doing that thing like Dre did for long. Like if you never put out an album, they can never say you're whack.
I think Erykah Badu got to him.
I don't know about all of that either, man. I mean, like I think
everybody she's messed with stopped making music.
Well, I mean, I just.
Yo, Isaiah, you got a promising future. Stay away from the Badu box, man.
Seriously, G. I mean, that box must be like.
Okay, moving right along. Moving right along. We all know not to touch the Badu box, right?
The Pandora.
We're gonna get it.
I'll try it. I don't know what y'all talking about.
Y'all are off the chain right now.
You relocate to like Detroit or some other place, man.
Ooh, that's a portal into obsolescence.
Pretty much, man. But I don't know, man. The J Electronica, man. Like the show that they did in Brooklyn a couple of days ago.
With Jay-Z.
Yeah, I was like, man, I missed this.
Yo, that was,
I remember.
Yo, that was,
Speaking of which, speaking of J Electronica, where's Just Blaze? I haven't been. When was the last time? Remember when Just Blaze would drop the beat of the year every year out of nowhere? Like,
He's gonna be DJing at MJQ in a couple weeks here in Atlanta.
Isaiah. We don't need Just Blaze. We got DJ Mustard.
Oh
See,
my
that's
God!
funny.
He went to the Mustard. He went to
That's
DJ
so funny.
Mustard. He was waiting for that. He was waiting for the DJ Mustard
waiting
track. He was waiting for that. He wanted to drop that.
Let me think. Okay, DJ
All right,
Mustard.
Ronny, I'm gonna give you your spotlight. We got 2 minutes to talk about Mustard. Just 2 minutes. Go ahead.
Listen, seriously. Where's Muhammad? Because Muhammad is he got some weak point defending DJ Mustard. DJ Mustard has like 2 keys on his piano.
And legit.
I don't know about legit. He uses the everything from Manny. He's stealing hard from Manny Fresh and from Swiss Beats. It's like the same.
Don't forget the West Coast Bay
and the
movie.
West Coast.
Hold on, you talking about DJ Mustard, right?
Muhammad, your defense was weak, brother. Listen, here's the thing, man. I can't listen to the same production each.
Oh, that wasn't my explanation, man. That was what Complex Magazine had written about the way he goes about producing beats, and I was like, I don't really care how, if you're a DJ that like just keeping the same drum framework and then you can just like, change the keys or the instrumentation. That's not good production, or good for the clubs. I mean, like if you're a real DJ, you can cut, scratch, transform, fade, all that good stuff, and you should make anything, with the right tempo, you can make it mesh.
But don't we have that every year, Muhammad? Don't we have every year we have
that one guy?
Like this year's DJ Mustard. Last couple years it was Mike Will Made It.
Mike Will Made It. Hey, but Mike Will Made It makes dope beats.
Just follow me. Just follow me. Then before that you had the Young Chop. But there's a certain sound that comes out about every year and a half from the same producer, and they wear it all the way out.
Well, I mean, you could say the same thing about Little John. You know what I mean?
Agreed.
Right, but my whole thing is like they dictate whatever's popular in the club dictates what gets played on the radio or what gets predominantly spun. I don't know.
No, I agree. And personally, I rock out to every one of them same sounding songs with DJ Mustard. But yeah, the problem becomes like, honestly, yeah, if you're not a critical listener, the average listener, like, you can't tell the difference between any of them. They all sound the same. And that's not being harsh. That's just being honest and descriptive.
Yeah, seriously. Like he produced a song for Kid Ink and a song for Chris Brown that sound literally
exactly alike.
They're exactly like.
So I will tell you.
It's not even just those. Every song he has out right now. 2 a.m.
Hold on. So I had the displeasure of being in Florida for over like a month earlier this year, and pretty much
that's Migos centric.
Yeah, really it is, man. St. Petersburg, Florida. So I was out there, and pretty much damn near the only songs I heard on the radio either had Drake or DJ Mustard or 2 Chainz.
I mean,
okay. Somebody's microphone is static. I want to introduce Franson. Franson Ferguson. He is the creator of Hip Hop Discussions on Facebook. It is a private Facebook page. Franson is Bahamas, and he created the group so that people from around the world can converse about hip hop. Franson, go ahead and introduce yourself.
All right, you guys can hear me?
I think that's his mic chopping up.
That's my.
That's it?
Is that? I don't think.
Yes, we can hear you.
I just disconnected my mic.
I don't think that's you, man. I don't know.
Okay, you're gonna have to go ahead and talk so that we can so that we can get you. Okay, we're gonna come back to you. Go ahead and get your audio situated. All right, while he gets his audio situated, he's coming in all the way from the Bahamas.
That him though?
Yeah, that's at least he's like on some static flow.
So you're saying, I just want to hear this, man. Are we saying that because it's 2014 that DJ Mustard is gonna get a pass? Isaiah, you an artist. I
You
heard
are
you
still,
spit. You got
you're
skills.
still on this
Hold up,
DJ
no,
Mustard
I
road.
just got to get this here. Isaiah, DJ Mustard come to you. You know he's the hottest thing. You gonna take his beat?
No, well, nah. I mean, I couldn't rap over DJ Mustard beat. I just couldn't. I'm not capable of rapping over DJ Mustard beat. I mean, I feel like there's other producers who are famous. I mean, a Pharrell beat, for example, that's a hit. You know, you get a hit out of Pharrell beat. Why not go for Pharrell? Wait,
I don't think Pharrell
Ronny, your mic
makes hip hop anymore.
Your mic is the one that's static. You need to fix that.
Who? Me?
You said you don't think Pharrell is a hip hop track?
I don't think Pharrell does hip hop anymore.
He just did that. He just did that. Didn't he do that beat with
Schoolboy?
Two Chainz? Who that dope?
That was Mike Will made it. Mike Will made it make that beat.
Oh, that was Mike G?
Yeah.
Yeah, you're right. Yeah, you're right on that.
And I have a problem with Mike Will, and it's not necessarily with Mike Will himself. It's just that people feel like you get a DJ that's popular and you put a whole bunch of popular names on the track and it's supposed to be hot. Like Kendrick was on a recent track with Mike Will and there was a whole bunch of other names on it, and the record sucked. It was truly terrible. The hook was.
I thought it was the beat. I thought it was the beat that sucked. Honestly, it was By the World with Wayne, Kendrick, and 2 Chainz. I thought it was the beat that sucks. I mean, I thought pretty much those 3 artists did their jobs, except for Mike Will made it.
Well, at some point, I just felt like everybody on the track, just because it was a Mike Will made beat and everybody on the track had a name, I sat there and I listened to it, and it was just like, it was garbage. It was total garbage.
Yeah.
But that's my personal opinion. When we start talking about producers and we all get caught up on the name and we don't listen or think about the music itself. So that, we need to be careful with those things.
Well,
I mean, but
that's how they set it up. I was in the studio a few months ago, and there was Atlanta A&R rep in there, and he was in there talking to one of the engineers. He's like, I got a hit. I need a singer. I need a girl singer, but basically shop the track to Drake and the same old names, Drake and 2 Chainz, but it was that same formula. It was a Khaled song. It's that same formula where he has Chris Brown, Drake, Wayne. They weren't going to put Nicki on it because like I said, they needed a different female rapper. But it's basically the same format, and that's what they do. It's not by mistake. They deliberately package it like that.
Did you say female rappers? Because I don't think there are none.
That's the next statement.
I don't know. I think I can count. Does Iggy?
Hold on. Iggy is ruling hip hop right now, according to
that's not hip hop.
Yo, hold up.
Forbes magazine.
That's not hip hop. That's hip hop. That's like urban pop or something. That's not hip hop, man.
Yo, you don't think she can float, Mo?
She's on Grand Hustle.
I don't care what label she's on, man. Yeah, I really don't care what label she's on. It's not what I was expecting. I mean, I know she doesn't live for like one person, but it's like, all right, you're indigenous to Australia and you have nothing representing where you're from, but you come and you sound like you're from Macon, Georgia.
And Chuck D got at her too recently for using the N-word on her Facebook.
Yeah.
Talking about I'm out here with my niggas.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Is that okay? Is that okay? And are we that comfortable? Are we that comfortable now that we will allow people to say that? Because if we do it for her and give her a pass, then how many other people can get away with saying it? But then we say
Nah.
it too.
That's why they think it's okay. And people say this is not a valid argument. I can say so about my family, but you can't. But the perception is, if it's okay with you, the people think it's okay with them. You can't have it both ways. Until we address it amongst our own culture, you can't expect other people to not partake in it.
So
Okay,
let
this is
me
my
let
this
me
is my take.
yeah.
This is my take on the N word, or nigga, as we say. You give a word as much power as you want it to. You know, you define the word for yourself. If you want to get all butthurt about people saying nigga, then you get butthurt. But if you
Oh,
make the
but
word,
it has a historical significance that does evoke certain emotions amongst older people. So you can't just say give it significance that you want, because it's used
yeah,
deliberately in order to antagonize or
it
derogate
has
people
been,
anyway.
it has been used, it has been used. But I feel like
So are you saying
you
that
give
it's no longer used
no,
to give people
no. I'm
no
saying
longer used to be derogatory?
you give a word as much power as
Check, check.
you give the word the power. If you
What
choose to
power is
not be affected, you choose to not be affected by words, like you know what I'm saying?
But
Like
that's looking
word,
at
hold
that's
up,
looking
but
at it
what
in the vacuum. If she says the word, if like Forbes said, she is the most influential person in hip hop right now, and she starts throwing that word around, then it becomes okay to her audience to use that same word. So you can't
I
say
understand that. I understand that,
it's
Hollywood.
just how much power I give it. It's how much power the speaker gives it.
but I don't
Okay,
care. I don't care if she uses the word. Like what? Like
but
Well,
here's my
I
thing.
feel indifferent about that, man. I mean,
But that's because of the time frame and the age difference. We have to understand, like a lot of people don't understand that just only 40 years ago, that means that some of us that are on this thing, like in our lifetime, that word invoked riots. But because you're 20 years removed from that era, you don't see the significance of that word.
no,
And of
I
course,
do. No, that's the thing. I do see the significance of the word, but I feel like if we can conquer this word, that is my take.
Listen, this is my take on it, and I'm just gonna play advocate, just so because we got a 17-year-old and we're a little older, right? Here's my thing: in the hip hop circle, this word, right? What power does this word have? You go to any hip hop song right now, they're saying nigga, 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 nigga. Okay,
Let me see.
so my question is, in the hip hop circle, if you're so-called a hip hop aficionado, you a rapper, do you get a pass? Because in our culture, in our hip hop circle, the word nigga is not nigga. It's nigga with an A, not with an ER. So you know what? And I'm not agreeing by any means. I know the historical significance of this word and all of that. You know what I'm saying? It's like I had this debate with a friend of mine where he was talking about, he's a white dude and he was talking and he was like, oh look, there's watermelon. And I'm like, dude, did you just say that to me? And he was like, nah, I didn't even say it like that. There's watermelon over there. Do you want some? And I'm like, does the and, and, and I'm saying to him, and he said to me, yo, watermelon back in the day probably, has some significance. But right now, watermelon is watermelon, my nigga. Nah, he didn't say that, but basically he was saying watermelon is watermelon. Like it doesn't evoke that kind of emotion. My question
yo,
is,
no lie to this day, I don't eat watermelon because of stuff like that, man.
I hate.
I ain't gonna front. I dated a white boy, and you know what I cooked him for dinner? I made fried chicken, watermelon, and biscuits, and I was like, yeah. And he was really uncomfortable. But I just just because I'm an asshole though. But
But
I'm gonna
does
bring
Iggy get a
Franson
pass?
back.
Does she get a pass because
Nah, she don't get no pass, man.
Muhammad, the
See,
word the word nigga, right, in hip hop circles, yo, if we were to do a word count, I'm pretty sure nigga would be in like 50-60% of hip hop songs.
No, you got that wrong. That word is
Maybe I'm
fuck.
exaggerating. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Maybe I'm
Yeah.
exaggerating.
I
No,
don't.
wait. No, it's more than 50 to 60%. Much more than 60%.
I'm
Listen,
exaggerating.
I don't care how much we say it. I don't care how much. Yeah, the
It
point is,
goes
like,
back to that.
the dichotomy becomes we say it all we want. Is it okay for them to say it?
Yeah, but then you go in the club in Las Vegas and they playing fuck some other niggas. They playing my nigga, whatever other song
And
got
they
niggas
right
in
there
it.
singing along.
And,
Nigga,
and
nigga,
they
nigga,
in
nigga,
there
nigga,
singing
nigga.
along. And it was interesting because when I was at the concert and the nigga and the N word came up and it was like a whole group of white kids and they were like when the N word came up, they all shut the fuck up.
Yeah,
So does
you're
Eminem
supposed
get a
to.
pass?
No, but
No,
you won't hear him say it either.
But
no.
Eminem,
He's supporting this rapper. He
I
has the right to. He has the right to recite lyrics.
You
Eminem,
won't hear. You won't hear Eminem. You hear Eminem say all kind of crazy stuff. Talk about all kind of
he won't
celebrities.
say
Talk about
that.
his mama and his girlfriend,
Because
his
he
ex-wife. He
knows
won't say that word.
he knows his cash flow will be cut off if he says the N word.
Not
Man, I
cash flow,
never bought one
credibility.
of his albums, man. I never bought one of his albums. And I mean,
Oh,
to
that's
be
so
honest,
sad.
You never bought.
Okay.
I bought Slim Shady, Marshall Mathers, and
I know. I mean, it's like I can't get with it, man. I mean, it's like, all right,
Whoa,
yeah.
Okay, so
Muhammad.
we're gonna go to Franson in the Bahamas. Franson, welcome to the call. We're actually about 10 minutes out from shutting it down, but I'm definitely
Yeah,
glad that you made it.
yeah, yeah.
Again, please let everybody know who you are and why you started the group.
Okay, you guys can hear me now, right?
Yeah.
Yes,
Yeah.
clear as the
Oh,
day.
okay. Yeah, my name is Franson Ferguson. I started the group Hip Hop Discussions because a lot of my friends from the Bahamas were real hip hop heads, and it was a small group of us from the Caribbean, and we really were interested in hip hop, and I guess we wanted an outlet. We want an outlet so we can have some place to discuss something that we kind of grew up with because the radio stations in the Bahamas, I mean, from since I was a kid, we always had a lot of hip hop on the radio, but only a select few person, I guess, in the country really took it to heart. But it grew and it grew, and I guess once we went off to colleges and spent some time in the States, a lot of the guys in the group, they went up to college at the same time. We came back to the Bahamas, and we really wanted an outlet to really speak about something that became passionate for us. So that's how it started.
And it seems like James McKinney is really trying to get in this call. Somebody please share the link with
I'm,
us.
I'm trying to get James in.
I
So,
swear I sent that link like several times, yo.
I'm trying to get James in, but James, I
Hey,
don't know what's going on.
really quick, family. I gotta run to an event. You know, I'm always in the streets, so I gotta cut out. Hope y'all enjoyed this because on the next one.
All right, everywhere like there, man. Turn that off.
all right, we'll see y'all.
Are you gonna
We'll
mute
see
me?
you the next time.
Yes, two fingers.
Hmm.
All right, so let's get back into the rundown of today. We got two more questions that we want to close out on, and you guys sort of like touched on it a little bit. The representation of females in the hip hop culture, and this isn't something that's brand new. It's been a problem for quite a while now. I would say from the
Since the
early
90s.
2000s.
Since the 90s.
I wouldn't say the 90s. I'd say like the early 2000s, man.
Early 2000s.
See,
Like
this is what. Hold on. Okay, now when did Lil Kim blow up?
we're not no because after Lil Kim there were quite a few other ladies that were rocking. Like we had Rod Digger, we had Eve, we had Charlie
But who? But
Baltimore,
who was?
But it always seems like it's
we
one
But
at
had
a
who
we
was?
time,
had
though.
Vita, we
But
had
who?
Vita, we
But
had
who was eating
females.
the most?
But
It's
here's the
not
thing.
about who was eating
But
the
who was
most. It
eating?
was the fact that there was more than one. We had
But it
Mia
was one
X.
at a time. It was one
We
at a
had
time. It's never.
yeah. It was
Listen,
always
how
one at a
come,
time.
right? You can have six, the top. Right now, we can name top 10 rappers right now, right? But we can't do that for females. Females pop one at a time because that's the quota for what's allowed in the game for a female MC.
No,
I,
because if you go back to the 90s, in the 90s, I think that it was ideal. Everybody had a clique, so you had 7 cliques, and each clique had to have one female. There we go. There he goes again. Little old man,
I
back
think
to the 90s. I'm gonna say, but it wasn't. It was in the early 2000s that whole clique concept fell apart. And I would say about 2002, that's when we lost sight of the females. I think the last female that came in as a part of a clique was Shauna, and she didn't do anything. Emil was terrible. Like, I don't know who she was smashing, but whatever the case may be, she didn't work out.
ooh.
So,
Yo, we
it
still
was it
waiting
was
on that
always
Major
it was
Coins
always
album like that Jay Electronica, man.
whose album?
I said we still waiting on that Major Coins album like we waiting on that Jay Electronica. I
and
didn't
then
even
and,
know
and
about
you heard
that.
the response, right?
Yeah,
The
like who?
response was whose album, and I'm sure that was Isaiah. Yeah, that was supposed to be the name of her album that never surfaced. So from the perspective of the female rappers, like what's going on and why aren't they prevalent? We have people like Dynasty. We have, oh my God, I forgot the young lady. They're I can't
What's her
remember
name?
her name
Rhapsody?
right now.
All right, so
Rhapsody, yeah.
let's think about it this way. All right, out of all the female rappers prevalent right now, right?
There aren't
Like,
any.
how many of them? Who would put any of them in your top 10? Like for now.
I think that they're boring and redundant. Like
Um,
they may be lyrical. They may be lyrical, but they lack it. Some of them lack in personalities. Others lack in diversity, in delivery, and then others just
um.
their lyrical content is not diverse enough to keep my attention.
So let's get down to the real demon of why female rappers never ever can like overall go together is because niggas ain't trying to hear women spit some nigga shit, and
Pretty much, man.
you said what?
I said pretty much. I don't want to hear a female rapper like she has like dick holes in her drawers, man.
You know what I'm saying though, like, and that's the main thing. It's just a discriminatory thing that I want to hear ladies say some ladylike stuff. You know what I'm saying? And like, I mean, it just comes to hunt. It just comes out that way. The male hip hop artists say male like things, and when
So nobody wants to hear a woman say woman-like things. Talk about like
It's
no,
getting
not
I
that.
want
and
no,
buying her shoes and getting beat down. Nobody wants to hear that.
Yo, what's
I think at
that's
one
not.
point, in the industry, I mean, that was definitely a better space for the female
Well,
hip hop artists.
you have Lauryn Hill. Lauryn Hill is just the
Yeah,
crown
yeah,
jewel. You know what I'm saying?
yeah.
Like,
She's special. She's special.
special.
Yeah,
She's in my top 10. You know what I'm saying? So
yeah.
like, you know,
She's my top 25.
I think
He
I
put her
think
in
she would.
25. Like that's it.
She's in my top.
Interesting.
She's in my top 10. But
Wow. All right.
she's a part. She's a part of two of the greatest albums of the '90s. So
I give her props. I give her props.
I'm thinking
and I mean, because basically you had to say the score was basically Lauryn Hill's album because nobody listens for nobody else's verses on that album but Lauren's.
That's cold, man.
It's true though.
That's cold, man. That's
True.
cold, bro.
But
All right, so let's get to the next.
you know-
Let's get to the next question
do you know
because
the
we
other
have to wrap.
Yeah, Wyclef and Prize, man.
Nope.
and you listen to their verses too. You
Not
be
really.
reciting their verses. You be
Man,
reciting their verses.
Man, you gotta get to the good part of the song, so of course you gonna listen to that shit, man. You know
You're
what I'm saying?
so funny.
Do you listen or do you hear?
Fast forward.
So we're gonna fast forward to the wrap of the show. Which newcomers will stand the test of time?
Boy.
And as I said, what happened to last year's heavy spitters? Which newcomers will stand the test of time? Who that came out in the last 12 weeks or in the last quarter is going to be somebody that you're
That came
going to
out?
pay attention to. Yeah, that came out that dropped in the last 12 weeks, in the last quarter, because we're looking at it from a quarterly perspective, or even in this first half of the year. In the past 6 months, who came out that you think will stand the test of time?
Man,
That,
I don't know. I
like,
think they just exist.
that debuted, like, you know, like that debuted themselves to the world. Did anybody debut themselves to the world in these past?
Well, you saying from January to now?
Yeah,
New, new
Absol dropped. I Am Sue dropped an album.
Absol.
YG dropped an
The
album.
only in the first half of the year, the only person who is new who's gonna survive is Isaiah Rashad.
I
Cold.
I would say that because like he's almost like he's eclectic in a good way, man. But like all these other guys, I don't know about. They just exist, man.
Yeah.
They're
It's
just
been a,
like
it's been
just
a,
like filler. It's a lot of fluff.
it's been a
Absol,
soft first half.
Absol album was very disappointing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I was looking for Chris Rio to do something a little special. It wasn't there, but the dude Chris Rio's definitely got potential. And you know,
Are you talking about Big Fun, sir?
it wasn't consistent. There was some tracks that, like Muhammad said, he was like his father. You know what I'm saying? But other than that, man, I haven't heard anybody, man, for real.
Mm-mm.
Not a
It's
one.
sad.
I mean,
Not
I
one.
think Muhammad, I think we spoke about this earlier, but the first half of the year has been really soft. I don't think there's been much that's come out that's been really grabbing anyone's attention.
No, I mean like I'm still listening to stuff from like late last year, man.
Yeah.
Yeah. This year's been, you know, I'm hoping. You know who I think is gonna like change everybody's whole opinion about them? Have you seen the production credits for this Joey Badass album?
Nah,
No.
but Joey,
Yeah, I
Have you
like I've seen him
It's scary.
like what he's doing.
It's scary. The production credits are scary.
Well,
I think this dude
I can say that he gives a wonderful show. I don't know.
he does. Joey
exactly.
does perform well too. I saw Joey.
I've been very disappointed by Troy Ave.
Troy
disappointed.
Ave.
That's
Troy
50 Cent
Troy
Jr.
Average.
50 Cent
Troy
son.
Average? I don't listen to Troy Average.
Troy
What?
Average.
Troy Ave.
Oh man,
That's 50
that's
Cent Jr.
Troy
oh
Average.
man.
Oh my god. This dude
Nah,
think
but
he's the only person who thinks it's fitting to get a Memphis Bleak feature. Who gets a Memphis Bleak feature?
Wow.
talking about
You
stuck
still
in the
rapping?
90s, that dude is stuck in the 90s too. But
Memphis Bleak is he's a weed carrier. He's a weed.
Wow. He's still rapping though? I mean like he's still like actually allowed to touch microphones and go into studios in the greater
I don't know. I don't know,
You
but
know,
like
Tri-State area,
MF,
man?
as
I don't
long as
know,
he's
but
a
like
million
MF
man.
Doom said, please do not touch mics. Be careful, cause that dude
Yeah.
sucks. Memphis
Yeah,
Bleak. Oh god.
Wow.
All right, Franson. Well, I'm going to give it to you, and you can close out the show
All right.
with your final thoughts for 2000 for the mid-year review. You can close out the show with your final thoughts of the mid-year review, and then I'll let everybody else give their final thoughts.
Well, I missed a big chunk of it. Had to deal with some things, but I appreciate us setting it up and us meeting. It's always good. Afka always sets up a great show for us. And I'm thinking the first half of the year, I'm kind of disappointed with what I've seen so far. I haven't been really perked by anything that's come out so much. I was hoping that we would hear something about Ray, something about the Wu, something like that would really got me going. But I didn't hear anything about that. So I'm just looking forward to the second half of the year. Hopefully one of these, and I want to say I really kind of try and give the younger guys at least a chance to really impress me. So I'm hoping that someone does in the second half, but I'm always looking for those legends to kind of drop in between there to kind of keep things in a cycle. So I'm looking forward to the second half. I'm looking forward to our third meeting this year, and hopefully I'll have something else that really caught my attention. But I appreciate everyone for showing up.
No doubt.
Isaiah?
Mhm.
Final words.
Final words. Joey Badass will save hip hop. No, I'm kidding. No, but seriously though, I think that's the album. That album is the one we should be checking out. He has production from Primo. He has old Dilla beats. He has Static Selector. He has Lee Bannon. He has Alchemist. He has a 12 producer credit right now.
Whoa.
And right now he has 47 songs to choose from.
When that's coming out?
I don't know. We don't know yet. We know it's dropping this year though. It's dropping this year. He has a 12 producer credit for like one album. So that is the album to check out.
All right.
All right. Muhammad?
Likewise, man. Been very disappointed with 2014, for musically. It's gotten so bad that I went back to actually like listening to old jazz records. So, no, I'm deadly serious, man. That and classical music. So like, I had to do something to uplift my mind from the ignorance and the nigga shit that I hear, the real nigga shit, you know. But for 2014, man, I'm looking forward to that Joey Badass album because like I actually got that whole Pro Era catalog. Those are talented kids, man. I especially like that guy CJ Fly from Pro Era. They good music.
You like CJ Fly?
Yeah, CJ Fly is all right, man. I was digging his music. And I would say this: I'm also waiting to see like what Big Crit is gonna do with his Cadillactica because he has some very interesting features that were supposedly on there. I know he's got Erykah Badu on the album. Yeah, and it was like a lot of the tracks it just came out with like a different energy for like those the six tracks that he did just as a warm up this year. And Mount Olympus is supposed to be the first street single or whatnot from the album. So like I'm looking forward to see how that goes together because he puts together a nice project all the time.
All right. Ronnie?
Listen up. I'm a bitter old man. I hate 2014. I am stuck in the 90s. You see this? Quarter waters, lemon heads, sunflower seeds. You see what I'm talking about here?
You got the Boston baked beans?
Dude,
shut up, man.
I'm in bitter old man. And the reason I'm getting even more bitter is because, as everyone here alluded to, this is a dead era, not a dope era, a dead era. So I am looking forward. I see some incredible talent in Isaiah. I'm excited when I hear Isaiah, a kid that knows his history and is trying to spit it that way. I'm excited when I see Common. I'm waiting for the Common project to see what that's gonna sound like. You know what I'm saying? Joey Badass, definitely. But I'm also excited. I'm also excited for, call me, a bit old man from the '90s, but see what Nas is trying to do with his with his whole mass appeal movement. I'm looking forward for the Wu. Although I haven't liked what I heard so far, but I have liked individual projects that I've heard from Raekwon. So I'm hoping that some of these new cats return to the dopeness of what the boom bap sound is. I know Isaiah said it's not going that way, but I think hip hop will make a resurgence in that era. Bitter old man.
All right. And finally, we're going to close it off. I want to thank everybody for joining us for another episode of I want to thank everybody for joining us for another episode of Hip Hop Discussions on Live. That's Hip Hop Discussion on Live. And we will be returning in October, shortly after the A3C Hip Hop Festival. We're also going to be covering One Music Fest here in Atlanta. Nas, Redman, Method Man will be headlining that show. In October, we will be covering The Locks, Boot Camp Click, and of course, the Roots will be there, and so many more. So you guys make sure you tune in, DIRadioCast.com. We will be back in October for the third quarter review with hip hop discussions on air. If you want to participate or join in, feel free to call the number or leave questions inside the comment box so that you can participate in the next event. The session actually holds up to 12 people. So if you'd like to be one of the people that speak on the show, make sure you leave your comments and send us your email address so that we can get in contact with you. Also, once you've sent out your information, we will invite you to be a part of Hip Hop Discussions on Facebook. You have to actively participate in order to be a part of the panel discussion. Thank you so much, and once again, this is Hip Hop Discussions on Air. My name is Africa Allah, and we'll see you in October.
All right. Peace.
All right, peace.